This devoted man was about to be fired. The company's reason was absurd, saying he loved reading too much. The boss felt this affected work efficiency. Poor Henry Bemis begged for one more chance. He couldn't live without this job. Fortunately, the boss saw he was a long-time employee, so he forbade him from reading during work hours. But Henry never dreamed at this moment. Soon his love of reading would save his life. As an ordinary bank teller, Henry often encountered difficulties at work, but honest as he was, he could only endure silently. Though he loved reading all kinds of books, at home his fierce wife Helen never allowed him to read. He couldn't even read a newspaper. She constantly gave Henry the cold shoulder. To prevent him sneaking a read, Helen made him go shopping. But when Helen left for a moment, Henry quickly pulled out a book hidden under the sofa cushion. To his surprise, she was already waiting at the door. Henry tried to explain nervously, but Helen immediately found the book he had hidden. She knew it was a poetry collection without looking. Henry thought he would get a scolding, but surprisingly, Helen asked him to read some poems. This was simply unbelievable to Henry, but when he opened the book he was instantly shocked. Every page had been scribbled all over. Henry finally got angry. In the argument, Helen snatched away the poetry book. She ruthlessly tore it to shreds. Henry knelt on the ground, picking up the pieces he treasured. He didn't understand what he had done wrong.
Because I'm married to a fool.
The next day, as quitting time approached, Henry quickly took out a sign. It read, "Please go to the next counter." Then he took out his lunch and books, because his reading addiction was acting up again. To find a quiet place, he went to the bank's underground vault. After making sure no one was there, he closed the door. Then he began reading peacefully. After a while, he fell asleep. Suddenly, a violent tremor with a huge explosion struck. The entire vault shook violently. Henry lost his balance in panic. Soon he was knocked unconscious by the force. When he woke up, he opened the vault door. He found the bank building had collapsed into ruins. He walked out in fear, but no one was around. Suddenly, a sound came. It startled him greatly. It was the sound from a radio. He staggered along, unable to understand what had happened. Soon he discovered the city had been leveled to ruins. He searched frantically through the ruins for survivors. The phone didn't work either. He kept calling out for Helen, but he only heard echoes. At this moment he realized everyone else must have died in the nuclear bombing. Since that was the case, he had to survive. Then he went to a supermarket. He found enough food to last him a lifetime. After eating, he found a sofa to sleep on. Before long, he was awakened by the cold wind. He found a car, but it wouldn't start either. At this point, he began to feel lonely, shouting loudly, but there was only wind and silence. Wandering aimlessly, he found a pistol. He felt lonely and desperate. He didn't know what was the point of living. Rather than continue suffering, it would be better to end it. But he suddenly saw the public library sign. This made his eyes light up. He put down the gun and rushed over, seeing famous books scattered all over the ground. This made him incredibly happy. It was like finding treasures. These were all books he had dreamed of reading. At this moment, he had a reason to keep living. He sorted the books by category. He made a detailed reading plan. He found these books were enough for a lifetime. With intellectual nourishment and unlimited time, he no longer felt lonely. At that moment, he saw another book on the ground, so he instinctively wanted to pick it up. But as he bent down, his glasses fell to the ground. For someone with such severe nearsightedness, without glasses, he was practically blind. He could only grope around blindly by feel. When he got them in his hand, the lenses were shattered.
Fair. That's not fair.